Marcus Rashford has finally got his wish. The story between Man United and Marcus Rashford is finally over. It's done. Or is it? Because we've seen this happen before. Marcus Rashford going out on loan, option to buy, and then the team doesn't exercise that option to buy. But this one feels different. I'm not going to lie, this one does feel different. I think after this loan spell with Barcelona, Rashford will stay at Barcelona. It seems to be all but done. This came out of nowhere to a certain extent, but also I did mention in my previous video, I think when we signed Debunking, that there was some movement happening. We felt like there was some rumours coming out in Italy potentially about Sancho and Rashford and Barcelona. There was whispers here and there, but nothing really concrete, nothing solidified. But it was a lot more than what we've been hearing over the past few weeks. So I felt like something was going to happen on the outgoings, especially now that we've got Mbeumo out of the way. We could focus on outgoings a lot more. And lo and behold, one day after we basically confirmed the signing of Mbeumo, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. It'll be interesting to see if we get other news. I feel like Sancho will receive some news about soon. Garnacho maybe. Antony as well. Apparently he's willing to lower his wage demands to go to Betis because he loved the place and obviously had a really good season over there, which I think is the smart decision because they have just been exiled. Marcus Rashford, Antony, Sancho, Garnacho and Malacia literally cannot be in the training ground when the first team players and Ruben Amorim are at the training ground. Ruben Amorim leaves through the front door, Marcus Rashford arrives through the back door. Like, it's been a very, very toxic situation over the past few months and I'm happy that it's finally getting resolved. Listen, Barcelona benefit from this as well, you know. We know they've been chasing Nico Williams for the past few years really, but really stepped up their pursuit over the past few months, and obviously he's committed his long-term future to Athletic Bilbao. Luis Diaz, listen, Faisal made a video about it. I'm in agreement with him. I don't know why Barcelona was trying so hard for Luis Diaz. I think they were willing to pay 60 or 70 million for Luis Diaz. Liverpool wanted 100 million. The way Liverpool can sell players is ridiculous to me. I don't know how you can even, in your mind, demand 100 million for, I think, 29-year-old Luis Diaz. But listen, Barcelona was silly enough to kind of have those conversations. Obviously, it didn't end up going anywhere. And so they've fallen on the option of Rashford. It has been discussed internally to sign Rashford. Rashford has come out publicly and said he would love to play in a place like Barcelona. He dreams of playing for Barcelona. We know this is his wish. We know Marcus Rashford wanted to go to Barcelona. That was his first choice. And listen, I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy that he's able to, you know, he had a decent loan spell at Aston Villa. Unfortunately, they didn't want to buy him. And we'll get onto that. Trust me, we'll get onto that because there's been a lot of talk about Rashford and how good Rashford is and how Man United are silly and Ruben Amorim's an idiot and the board are so dumb for letting this world beater, this amazing player out of their hands and, you know, letting him go when, okay, cool, well, Aston Villa had him for a few months and decided not to buy him. So there is a reason why we don't want Marcus Rashford, but this isn't a video to hate on Marcus Rashford. I like Marcus Rashford a lot. I loved Marcus Rashford at a certain point. And I know a lot of the Man United demographic who are younger, especially the younger demographic, grew up supporting Man United because of Marcus Rashford. Because in those dark days, we really didn't have a star boy. We really didn't have anyone to kind of give us hope except Marcus Rashford. A young kid, came through Carrington, from Manchester, supported the club growing up, played for the club, excelled in those first few years. And then obviously in the later stages, it did get a bit sour, did get a bit toxic. And that is the reason why I think this is the best result. This is the best solution, you know, for all parties involved. Like the way life has worked out for Marcus Rashford right now in this moment over the past few years has been really, really difficult for him. But the way it's led up to this moment in particular, him getting his move to Barcelona, hopefully turning permanent again for his best interest and for Man United's best interest, it's all worked out. Manchester United and Marcus Rashford has been a very toxic relationship for the past few years. It's like that couple that grew up together, they love each other, they've been together their whole lives, they don't know anything other than each other. They've never been with anyone else. It's always been them and them. This person, that person. They've been together. It's been nothing other than these two. Inseparable. And everyone looking on the outside is looking as if, oh, you two are so lucky to have each other. But internally, they're fighting every day. It's a mess. Internally, the dynamics are all over the place. And yet everyone keeps saying, no, you two are perfect. You two are perfect. We're even getting people from the Man United fan base saying, why are we doing this? Why are we letting this world beater go and going out and posting compilations and go? Have you watched Man United over the past few years? Like I said, I like Rashford a lot. When Rashford is being Rashford, when Rashford is playing how Rashford can play, and I've seen it, trust me, I've seen it firsthand what this guy is capable of. He's an absolute freak when he wants to be. But the bottom line is we need consistency. The bottom line is our most paid player, our highest paid player, paid more than some of the best players in the league, some of the best players in the world. And listen, that's not all Rashford's fault. Man United are at fault as well for putting him at that level, offering him the whole world, kind of setting him up for failure when everything around him is a shambles. So I blame Manchester United for what's happened with Marcus Rashford, but also Marcus Rashford has some accountability to take, and I'm sure he will say that it hasn't ended the way that he's probably wanted it to end. The past few years hasn't gone the way he probably wanted it to go. He could have been more consistent. He probably could have played differently under different types of managers. He probably could have adapted. You know, we even heard some rumors about him releasing news and leaking news when he wanted a certain manager out. So there has been fault from both parties. If you think otherwise, then you're just deluded. So please, it will be beneficial for everyone to just let go of the dream of Marcus Rashford and Manchester United. This is best for all parties. And if you really, really love Marcus Rashford, this is the damning statement. If you really love Marcus Rashford, you would want him to leave Manchester United. If you really love Manchester United, you would want them to get rid of Marcus Rashford. It's the best solution solution for all parties involved. Fans, player, club. Whether you see it or you don't. I even see people coming on this thing of, oh, Amorim has his perfect 9 in Marcus Rashford. He just can't see it. I don't know why he's being blind to it. This is my litmus test if you know football. My test, if you know football, is Marcus Rashford a good striker? If you say yes, if you say Marcus Rashford is a good striker, if you say Marcus Rashford should be leading the line for Manchester United, forget Rasmus Højlund for a second. Because I feel like everyone who says yes is only saying it because, oh, he's better than Rasmus Højlund. Forget that debate for a second. Is Marcus Rashford, as a standalone striker, forget who we have at the club, is he good enough to lead the line for Manchester United? The answer, factually, is no. If you've watched Marcus Rashford play as a striker, you would know. Marcus Rashford played as a striker for Amorim in those first few games. Wasn't good enough. Yes, he scored against Ipswich. He scored a few against Everton as well. But overall, his play as a striker isn't good enough. He's not as involved as he wants to be. His movement, his hold-up play, his physicality in and around the box isn't as good as it should be for a striker. He can't play with his back towards the goal. We saw it under Ten Hag. It wasn't good. His best moments under Ten Hag came at that left wing position. And we've seen in other systems here and there. Marcus Rashford just isn't a good striker for Man United. So please, let's just park that debate for a second. Now, if you're in the camp of, oh, the only reason we're getting rid of him is because we're backing Amorim so much. Again, you're wrong. I remember those reports that Mourinho had some issues with Rashford. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had issues with Rashford. Ten Hag had issues with Rashford. Let's not forget, there was multiple incidents where Ten Hag had to come out and defend Marcus Rashford or criticize Marcus Rashford because of stuff that was happening off the pitch. So let's not forget all of that. And then Ruben Amorim has come in and had problems with Marcus Rashford. So the story is done. Please, let's stop this revisionism or whatever it's called, where you want to go back, you want to play some tapes, you want to put on a sad soundtrack over some comps, over his best moments, his best goals, his best dribbles, his best skills, and you just want to pull on people's emotional strings. It's not going to work. If you're a rational thinker, if you think critically, if you can remove emotion, you would know that this is the best for all parties involved. Now, just to go through some tweets, obviously you saw David Ornstein did say Barcelona advancing on a deal to sign Marcus Rashford. Since then, we have had some updates. Fabrizio Romano came in obviously with the here we go verbal agreement in principle between all parties involved, with Barca planning for medical tests next days. Loan deal with buy option. Details being finalized today that Man United will authorize his travel to Spain. But also we've had this, as I've just been recording, Barcelona is set to pay whole Marcus Rashford's salary as part of proposed transfer from Manchester United. This is good. This is exactly what we need. I don't know the specifics. I think he's on more than £300,000 a week. That has been the biggest hurdle with Marcus Rashford when it comes to offloading him, selling him. It always had to be to a big successful club. But the argument was always, is he good enough to play for a big successful club in this era, in the year 2025? And listen, it's obvious that Marcus Rashford was not the first choice for Barcelona. That's just factual. But again, the way things have happened, the fact that Nico Williams didn't join them, which was a shock to everyone involved, I think even to Barcelona, the fact that Liverpool wanted over £100 million, the fact that those two things happened, we got a break and Marcus Rashford got a break by Barcelona obviously turning their attention to him, and obviously this has all worked out. So thankfully, it's like the worlds have just aligned. And shout out to Zayn on Twitter. He is like a United aggregator. He obviously mentioned that there is a buy option, but it's 35 million euros, which I think isn't too far off what we wanted from Aston Villa for the buy option as well. I think it was actually £40 million from Villa. So that's gone down a little bit. But of course, they are paying Marcus Rashford's full salary. I don't know if Aston Villa were. This is good news. Like I said, whether you're Marcus Rashford camp, whether you're the Man United camp, this is good news for everyone. A kid who has served the club, has been a good servant of the club, is a Man United kid, is a Carrington kid, going out and living his dream and putting on that Barca top on. Good for him. But it'll be interesting to see how he does at Barcelona. You know, Hansi Flick is a manager, like every other manager in the world at the moment, it seems, who relies a lot on the press, who relies a lot on fast-paced football, a lot of transitional football, which obviously means a lot of running. Now, we know that's been Marcus Rashford's biggest issue at Manchester United. It's the fact that he doesn't run back. It's the fact that his body language doesn't look good when he's not got the ball. When the opposition have the ball and they're playing it around, and Marcus Rashford is just kind of like jogging to here, jogging to there, putting his hands down on his hips. It doesn't look good. And I remember, if you remember those clips, you'll know what I'm talking about, and you'll know how toxic it was. You'll know how much abuse he was getting online, which obviously isn't justified at all. But again, it's probably one of the reasons why the managers had a problem with Rashford, because as much as you tell him, please, Marcus, I need you to run. Please, Marcus, I need you to track back. Please, Marcus, I need you to press. It just doesn't seem like it's part of his game. He'll do it here and there, but it's not a consistent press. It's not a consistent run or effort. It just seems like he does it here and there when he feels like he wants to do it. Obviously, this is similar to Mbappe at Real Madrid. You know, I'm not comparing their quality as players, although at one point there was a conversation there. Let's be honest. Let's not forget when Marcus Rashford had his hand on Mbappe. You know, I know Liban loves to use that picture, and rightly so. At that stage, there was a conversation there. Obviously, now we've seen Mbappe go to Real Madrid, and although he's shelling it, although he's getting goals, there is always that conversation. Mbappe doesn't like to run back. Mbappe doesn't like to run. He doesn't like to track back. He doesn't like to press. He doesn't like running at all. His body language stinks, and it seems to be a big issue. It's a big issue for Carlo Ancelotti. It's a big issue amongst the fan base. Just watch Faisal's videos, you'll know. And it seems to be a big issue that Xabi Alonso is also having to deal with, because obviously you've got a player with Mbappe's quality, a player of Mbappe's presence, his online presence, his presence in the sporting world, forget football, sporting, and it almost feels like a chore, like this running back thing. Like, it feels like a chore that they feel like they don't have to do. Like, I'm too good for that. So like I said, you can bring in any manager at Real Madrid and they still might not get Mbappe to press. They still might not get Mbappe to run. So it'll be interesting to see how Hansi Flick handles that with Marcus Rashford, who again again has had problems with running. And again, I'm not comparing the two in terms of quality, although Marcus Rashford could have an amazing season at Barcelona. That is, by the way, still a possibility. He could go on and score a crazy amount of goals, find his form, find his confidence. And again, every single United fan should be happy if that's the case. Don't be coming and saying, oh, we should have kept him, we should have never sold him, we should have... No, the reality is he probably couldn't have done that if he stayed at Man United. The same thing with McTominay, the same thing with Anthony Elanga. All these players, sometimes you have to let them go in order to flourish because they never would have done it at the club. Whether it be structure, opportunity, confidence, whatever it is. Obviously in Marcus Rashford's case, it's relationships with the club, relationships with the players, maybe the manager, and obviously confidence is a big part. And speaking of confidence, we know Manchester United is the biggest club in England. The pressure, the eyes are humongous. You can't compare it to any other club in England. But what you could compare it to is the other big clubs in the world, you know, the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas. And to be fair, the pressure at Real Madrid, no one can really talk to you about. That's probably the biggest in world football. They are the biggest club in the world. Barcelona being the second biggest club in the world, that is something you probably could compare to Man United. But obviously, Barcelona's pressure will be even more than it was at Man United. So it'll be interesting to see how Marcus Rashford deals with that as a whole, especially with a team who has Lamine Yamal, especially with a team who has Rafinha. A Rafinha, by the way, who in the first season at Barcelona looked like a horrible signing. The fans hated him. A lot of them turned against him. A lot of them weren't really behind him. They're like, why did we even sign this player? But credit to Rafinha, he was able to turn it around. He had the confidence in himself, the belief in himself. Hansi Flick obviously played a big part in that. Turned it around and had a Ballon d'Or contender season. So let's see if Marcus Rashford doesn't get off to the best start at Barcelona, will he be able to still kind of turn it around? And I hope he will be able to turn it around. But in all honesty, I hope he hits the ground running. I hope he plays extremely well for Barcelona. I hope he scores goals. I hope he finds his form again, because that's what I want to see. I want to see Rashford smiling again. And I don't want it to be a toxic situation between the club. I want him to be able to look back fondly at his memories of Man United. And I want Man United fans to be able to do the same about Rashford. But yeah, man, Rashford gets his wish. Like I said, being able to play with Yamal, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Pedri. It's not a bad upgrade, huh? You know, it definitely beats Højlund, Casemiro, Garnacho, and all the other bums we've got on our team. But let me know how you feel if you're a United fan. Let me know how you feel if you're a Barca fan. And just an outsider looking in. Although, to be fair, it seems like everyone's absolutely buzzing for Rashford. But that's all for today, guys. Please don't forget to like the video, comment your thoughts as I mentioned, and I will see you hopefully for more news very, very, very soon.